How you doing? So I thought I'd make a video on the Diddy case, um, and my thoughts on not only the Diddy case but the black community as well. And that's what this video is going to be about. So, for starters, why an interest in the black community? I happen to be Hispanic, you know, and just why such an interest in the black community, why? Um, and it's just very simple. I noticed this pattern of illegal immigrants taking jobs, but the black community taking jobs as well. But I noticed that there's a lot of exclusion, a very high profile amount of exclusion. And most people would say once they would find out, or I would basically tell them, they would be like, oh, it's autism, it's because of your autism, but this actually isn't the case. I've noticed things going on within the black community where it's very dysfunctional, and there's a lot of racism involved, and overall just circling back to exclusion. So why, as a Mexican American, would I pay attention to only the black community? Well, and you see, the thing is that I wasn't appreciated by, Mexican Americans, or just, illegals. And this is because of two reasons. It's because I don't conform to, working with criminals, whether they're high or low profile criminals. And I don't happen to like, this whole network that Los Angeles is mainly operating within of human trafficking and legal human trafficking to people like myself, where we get incarcerated for small things. We get incarcerated for things we never did. We go in and out of psych wards or hospitals, even though we're not getting proper, medical attention or health care. And we happen to get into trouble with domains or websites that happen to be selling people. And with me, it was on the fact of trans escorts, right here. So, yeah, that's basically what I've had to deal with. And basically, that's why you see some of the things that happen. Now, for me, as an autistic person, to say, oh yeah, they had to cause all this theater and all this mayhem and all this dysfunction, or they had to create this crisis because of one autistic person. See, people are going to say that I'm paranoid or schizophrenic and have too much autism, I need to be medicated, which I've proven time and time again that I actually don't need any intervention or any medication. And it's on the simple fact that because of websites like this is why I've had my life tarnished, and why there is in fact crime, not even just with the illegal and Hispanic to Latin community, but also the black community as well. Now, for the Latin to Hispanics, especially if they're legal, that happen to be deported, even if they are illegal, that's not unfortunate for you. That's actually very much deserved by you. You've been working with cartel a little bit too much, and now we're taking back our power, not only just as Americans, but for citizens that want to uphold our own boundaries, whether the law is involved or not. Because, to put simply, the law is very much corrupt. But it's not in the way that you think, where the people that are already there are corrupt necessarily. It's the people behind the scenes, not elites or not any kind of conspiracy, but the simple, gangs like Bloods or Crips, from African American gangs or black gangs, or cartels to Mexican mafia within Hispanic and Latin gangs. It's very simple. So, yeah. And the good thing about the good thing for the black community is that they'll have complete immunity. They'll have absolute complete immunity. Basically, they're going to get in no trouble. They ain't going to get in no trouble because they have it, down to the core, where they have it held down, with all these communities, and mainly the black to Hispanic, community working together, up in arms, and really escorting some girls, whether they have a small or big purse, or whether they got to get their essentials, what I'm saying, their food or housing, but also they're like privileges, or there's stuff that they gotta pay for, not just phones, but like gifts too and stuff like that. So when all these Bloods and Crips, get to operate, and basically no child gets to choose where they want to work or where they want to go to school. They just have to work with these Bloods or Crips, even if they're not a part of that gang. And they have to have cops kind of discriminate against them, but be used as their social workers, LAPD. That's basically it. So yeah. LAPD is basically their social workers, and I'm like LA County is like their social workers too, but they're kind of like criminal social workers. I mean, I'm telling you, you saw that stuff with that Blade used, against that white boy. That white boy didn't get nothing done to him, but he got taken away with his life, and then that other guy, whatever his name was, he just got away scot-free. He got to get a new house. He got to get a new car with his family. And, I don't even remember his name. I mean, what was it again? What was his name again? The other guy's name, I think, was Trevante Davis, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I think that was his name. I mean, justice for him. I mean, he got away with taking a life with the blade, at a little football game, and they counted him like a hero. But if it would have been, a Hispanic or Latin, person, and they would have done a stabbing, at a football game, oh yeah, it would have got tons of national news. They would have deported the whole family. They would have deported the whole family. They would have put that guy in jail and then eventually deport him too. But no, because he was an African American folk. He got the whole house. He got the car. After taking a life at a football game because they told him to move. That's like somebody sitting in your assigned seat in a flight and you ask them to move, and they take a knife out on you, and just because of the color of their skin, they get immunity, and they have all these warmongers, or they just want to have all these enablers and stuff, or they just want straight up criminals to back them up. I mean, why would they not want criminals to back them up? I mean, if they make all the money, and they work with all these communities and they just look clean cut, but then they found out that they're taking a lot of money. Well, I mean, whatever happened to that Big U case? And remember when that man stole like $17 million from LA, trying to say that he was doing gang interventions, and he was trying to say that he was trying to low, gang violence and stuff. But then they come to find out, the man was not doing anywhere near that stuff. In fact, he was actually taking billions away, if I'm not mistaken. It was not no like 17 million. It was like point 0.2 billion. It was like, if it was like 0.2 billion, it was like 2.3 billion. I was like, man. I'm like 23 billion. It was like 2.4 billion. I was like, damn, he went on Kobe on it. I was like, shoot, Kobe was number 24, but he was number 25 the way he leveled up, and he really was like big boss man in like a GTA game. I was like, damn. I was like, whatever happened to Big U? That big old crip. That big old crip there. I was like, man, whatever. I wonder whatever happened to him. I'm like, Los Angeles, Los Angeles didn't pay enough attention to that big boy, black gang member crip, fool. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm like, yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, they didn't really pay a lot of attention to him. But they paid a lot of attention to one brown boy, one autistic, call little R, no Rasa, you know what I'm saying, like no family or no race, because that those Mexicans are racist, especially towards blacks, on the real. But like, they weren't on no Rasa. They're like that little brown R word boy, that little brown retarded boy right there. And yeah, that little autistic boy, he be, exposing all those, trans prostitutes on TS escorts, list crawler, and back page and two back page, and then bed page and two bed page. Man, they had to create a lot of domains. Man, now we know like Trump had to be on this, and that's why we basically let him be the president, because he was with the Epstein. Hey, man, if Donald Trump with the Epstein, then he with the Diddy. Donald Trump with that Diddy. He wasn't just with the Latin to Hispanic community, which would be the equivalent to that white boy up in there, up in that jail cell who took his own life apparently. He basically with the black community, African American community, because he with that Diddy. Donald Trump, he was paying for some girls. He was paying for some girls under the table. Man, he was paying for some girls who were like, underage and all that, man. Man, I'm telling you that. And now you wanna get rid of cartel, who really be like distributing some of these mamas, some of these little Latino mamas and stuff. Donald Trump want to be deporting these cartel. They're like our coworkers, our bosses, and I'm like, man, we couldn't even make them look innocent enough. They're a McDonald's worker, they in a cleaning company, they in a construction company, they in the farming work, they in the grocery, they in the grocery markets and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's why they had to deport your coworkers. That's why they had to deport your coworkers. That's why they had to deport your coworkers. Little black community, little Rasa community, little racist ass community, little Mexican racist ass community. I'm telling you, they're trying to eat each other up. I'm telling you, either way or side of the coin. If it's not blacks being racist to Mexicans, it's Mexicans being racist to blacks. And I'm not really tripping. I'm not even really tripping, because it's all about money. They all laughed. I'm like, I know it's all about money at the end of the day. They laugh and they're like, yeah, it ain't about money, it ain't about that nonprofit. We're non-profit over here. We don't do none of that. We take care of people out here. We take care of our communities and stuff. We don't do none of that. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You just take care of your fucking girls that fucking sell and shit. You just take care of your fucking your trans, escorts, and your female escorts, and your little minor escorts. That's why they didn't let ICE or federal agents in LAUSD, because they know they would have got caught up. Just like they didn't let them in Dodger Stadium, because they know that there's too many prostitutes going on there. And LAPD got the call from like the LA government, equivalent, and they're like, hey, look,